Hey guys, it's Destiny, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about whether or not you should be re-rolling in Honkai Star Rail when it does come out, or just a few things to consider about that. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I did make a video previously about is it possible to re-roll, and while it technically is possible to re-roll, it is definitely very time consuming for one to do so. However, let's just say you had the time and you really did want to re-roll for your character. Should you do it? So I'm going to say that if you do want to reroll in this game, even though it might be tedious, in the beta it is pretty tedious with like how much currency you get in the beginning. But I mean, later on you do get a bit more currency obviously as you go, but that's within a few hours of you playing the game. So you would have already had to commit a few hours into the game before you get to the point where you're like, yeah, getting a lot of pulls now and all of that. So ultimately, should you reroll? Let's say you have the time, or you just want to basically do like, I guess, a 10 pull or a 20 pull and see what that gets you. And if you were to do that, you can try to ensure the character you want, as there are multiple characters in the game that are definitely appealing, especially to those who are newcomers or even veterans of Honkai Impact, Genshin Impact, whatever it may be, as a few characters from Honkai Impact are in this game. So you may want to pull them, such as Bronya, Himiko, well, whoever it may be. Personally, I really want Bronya, and I'm probably not going to be re-rolling for Bronya, but the game does have another feature that kind of like contradicts, I guess, the possibility or rather idea of re-rolling, which is in the game there is a system where when you reach 300 pulls, I know that's a hefty number, but if you reach 300 pulls on the standard banner, you will be able to essentially pick any of the standard characters, and this is a one-time thing. But let's just say that hypothetically you want Bronya, Himiko, whatever it may be, you can do this with that system. So if you want to reroll, that is also fine. But if you just want to get the character, like, and you're fine with waiting, you can definitely get that character pretty easily, or rather not necessarily easily, but more so like you can work towards it passively as you play the game. Additionally, if you are enjoying this video so far and it is helping you out, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and now let's carry on. I'm not too sure how long it would take to get that many pulls, but let's just say you are a spender or free to play, whatever it may be. If you're a spender, then obviously you can spend the money and just straight up get whichever character you want. And at that point, you could just pick. I wouldn't even recommend at that point to reroll if you're okay with spending. But if you are free to play, then if you want to reroll, that is completely fine. Or if you know you are willing to wait, then I feel like that system is an amazing thing to have, as it allows you to pick any of the standard characters. Unfortunately, not the limiteds that come and go, but it will let you pick any of those standard characters. And there is also the little promotional thing for the one time, which is basically that in 50 pulls, which is technically discounted, so it's actually 40 pulls, 40 standard ticket pulls, you will be able to get one of the standard 5 stars, which that standard 5-star might actually be who you want. It might not be who you want, whichever it may be, but then you also have to consider that system as well that's in the game, which allows you then to basically pick, okay, let's say on the promotional one that you get somebody you kind of want, but let's just say they're your runner-up. Let's say you really want Bronya, and let's say Himiko is your runner-up, and you get Himiko. Well, there you go, you got Himiko, but you don't have Bronya yet. And if you're okay with waiting, as I said, you could passively work towards getting Bronya. Now, if you want all of them, well, that's kind of its own thing, if I'm being honest. That's a lot that you would want, but I'm sure it exists. Like, somebody probably does want all of them. Me personally, like, it's like I wouldn't mind all of them, but my priority isn't getting all of them. Although I will say if you do want multiple, that 300 pull system is pretty good, considering the fact that within 300 pulls, you're going to get roughly 3 to 4 5-stars. You might even get more if you're really lucky and you don't have to hit pity too much. Then you can get even more 5-stars as you play. So ultimately, you can get a lot out of that working towards that 300 pulls. And in the game, you do get a good amount of standard tickets. Like from Pom Pom, every time you level up, not your actual like the MC's level, but your character level in the game. When that levels up, then you'll be able to essentially get Stellar Jades, which is basically the premium currency in the game to summon on limited or standard. And you also, I believe it's every 10 levels. So at level 10, I know I got it. But at level 10, I was able to get another standard ticket And throughout the battle pass, if you do buy it or you don't buy it, I think if you buy it, then you get the limited tickets. But if you don't buy it, then I believe you only get standard tickets as you go through the battle pass. But the battle pass gives you standard tickets and stellar jades. The pom-pom system with the levels, it also gives you, I believe once again, it's every 10 levels, you get a standard ticket. So while you play the game, you will be getting standard tickets. And of course, every month they do the 5 tickets for the limited and the standard with using the currency that you get from summoning. So there's also ways to get tickets that way. So there are quite a few ways to get these tickets. And of course, the stellar jades as well, if you're fine with spending on the standard. There are ways to do this to get that guaranteed character you really do want. So ultimately, would I recommend rerolling? Yes and no. If you have the time for it, go right ahead, because then when you do that 300 system, eventually, then you will be able to pick someone else you want. Or if you really want a constellation, I'm not too sure how to pronounce the constellations in this game, but the game does have constellations, then you can do that. Or you could pick another character you really want. So either way, if you have the time, I would say go for it. If you don't really have the time, I wouldn't even stress about it, because you can eventually pick whoever you want. So it's just, really passive. It'll probably take a good amount of time, but it's okay in the end, because at least we do have that system in order to get whoever we want. Personally, I really want Bronya. As I keep saying, I love Bronya. She's a great character. She's probably, I would say, the best buffer in the game after getting to read her kit and knowing a lot about her. So I would love to pair Bronya with like a limited character who is like a DPS. Or on my promotional standard, if I do end up getting a 5-star DPS, that will work really well with Bronya. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys see me with that Bronya day 1, don't ask any questions. You know how it happened. I either rerolled, I either got really lucky, or I may have done the 300 pulls. Okay, I'm probably not going to do 300 pulls day 1, because that's a lot of money. But that's not the point. The point is that if you guys see me with Bronya, there are multiple ways it may have happened, but you may be guessing the correct way, depending on how fast I get Bronya. I'm just letting you guys know that I'm very likely picking Bronya, unless I get her early. But if you guys want a video as to why I really like Bronya, I can give you guys that as well. But yeah, overall, I think the system is really great. And if you want to reroll, once again, I'll say it one more time. Go right ahead. If not, it's a-okay, and you'll eventually get who you want. So either way, it's a win-win scenario in my book. At least, I think so. You guys can let me know in the comments down below if you think it's a win-win scenario, or if you feel it's not the greatest. I personally think, though, it's a pretty good system overall. Pretty good everything overall. I know 300 pulls is a lot, but I think it's okay, because we can still get that character eventually. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope you guys want to see more videos from me as well. And if you want to see more Star Rail, of course, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below if you guys are excited for the game. Who is your favorite character as well? And out of the standard characters, if you were to reroll, or if you were to use that 300 pull system, who would you pick? I really want to know. And I hope you all have a good one. Peace.